Podcast.
All right, and we are live. Looks like this is Coach David with Metro Jiu-Jitsu. Professor Muhammad, how we doing, my man?
Hey guys, good morning.
And then
Assalamu alaikum.
of course, we got a special guest with us, Munib Salmani. How we doing, Munib?
I'm doing well.
I didn't tell you. Should have told you pre-show. The red light is the camera that's live, right?
Okay.
So whichever, if you want to make eye contact with the camera, you can. If you want to look away, you can do that as well. So just so you know which one's which. But we got. We're gonna get into some cool topics today. You know, I had Munib and I were catching up. We used to train together, obviously, back in Detroit we didn't really train because you focused primarily on your MMA stuff, right? So you were upstairs doing, kind of focusing on just cage fighting, and then every now and then I'd see you guys come. Yeah. It always came down at like the end of class. Like it was always there would be like 15 of you would come down after I'm like dead and ready, and you're all like, "Let's," you got.
They always would come down and seem like a little bit fresher than us.
Yeah,
we always overlapped. Our practices overlapped always, so that was the most difficult thing because we wanted to come down, but we'd have the same time. Like we'd be doing something, and we'd finish, and we'd have to go down.
So what was even this? Because did you guys do jiu-jitsu upstairs?
No, we did like MMA grappling. So it was like a lot of wall work, a lot of grappling too, but it was just a little bit different, like mostly tailored towards MMA.
How is it?
So like we'd work a lot on getting back up, defending submissions, getting out of bad positions, things like that. Starting in certain situations.
Sounds like no jiu-jitsu to me. I'm just playing.
I wasn't really like drilling like triangles and arm bars, but we'd
Here's
every
the
now and
line
then.
between jiu-jitsu and MMA.
I'm just playing with it. No, but I do agree. It seems like they came down and like I was ready to go home, and they're like, "Who's got matches?" I'm like. And the level of intensity, at least how I was training back then, was not like I could probably keep better pace now with how much wrestling I do. But you're just the intensity. I was like, man, these guys are not here for a mellow roll by any definition, And I remember like it was the whole crew. It was you, Cody, Darren, Fish, Drew. Who else was up there?
It was a good squad. We'd have Jesse Bazzi was with us.
Bazzi. Yeah, he's got a spot. We need to have him on too. He's at Bloom, right?
Yep, Bloom.
And he's out this way.
Yeah, he's not far. He's in Wayne.
Dude, why is everyone opening schools? Like, it's like, I mean, I know why we chose Westland Canton, but like, why? Like, how'd you land here? Actually, that's a good.
Honestly,
we were Munib. Solace. I should have terrible entry.
Yeah,
Munib with Weavers Boxing. Yeah, who are you? What do you do? Let's start with that.
What happened when? Like, how did you go from training there,
right,
and then to your gym?
I wanted to open originally in Dearborn. That was like my goal, either Dearborn or Dearborn Heights, because that's where I'm from, and it made way more sense. But what really happened was I had a business partner. We were going to open a big location on Telegraph in Dearborn Heights, but COVID also messed that up. We ended up opening a small location. We knew that something was coming along that way, so it wouldn't be a good idea to sign on a big building. Yeah. And honestly, it worked out for the better because I really didn't know too much about the business. I had a little experience working at Title Boxing Club, nothing like owning the business.
Sure.
I feel like that takes years to learn, but what ended up happening, we opened briefly, small location, Garden City, and 3 months later, the whole country shut down.
Yeah. Yeah,
3 months after you opened.
3 months, yeah. It was horrible. Like, we were hearing rumblings, like, not a good idea to sign a big lease because then you'd be paying close to $10,000 a month in a lease, which is crazy, is. And then
where?
It was on Telegraph, so it would have been like around 7,500 plus the triple nets. You know how these areas work.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
Yeah, Telegraph's expensive.
Yeah. In Dearborn Heights.
Yeah.
Man, there's some cities like that. Like, they think there's something that they're not. There's parts of Dearborn Heights where, like, bro, like, I've seen your flooded street. Like, let's like, hang on. I don't know. You're not West
They got
Dearborn,
Beverly Hills prices. Even West Dearborn has Beverly Hills prices
West
on these.
Dearborn's different than Dearborn. I'm thinking Dearborn Heights, like near the bridge, right, or near the 94 overpass, like Van Born and Telegraph. Like, bro, that's not 10. That's not 10,000.
It's not worth it.
We are part of like a geographic area where people kind of like make their own prices.
Absolutely.
And because the supply and demand and the Arab American area is like very, very high, like because everybody stays where the culture is.
What do you mean Arab? Oh, you're in your community, like around where the heavy Arab congestion is.
Yeah, like if you look at where the Arabic restaurants, where people are living, like the culture, the food, the proximity to the places of worship. They're like this, and that creates more of a demand, and people want to stay there.
Even people like some of my customers, they'll be paying $20,000 a year in taxes just to live in like the Dearborn Heights area.
I'm not sure who's paying that.
David,
the Arabs.
20.
Yeah, they are.
So I own my house free and clear. My payment's $2,000
for
a
the
month.
rest of your life.
Yeah, they want to do it for their kids.
What like?
You can't explain it. You can only explain it to other Arabs. It doesn't make sense to anyone else.
Like if I didn't.
He has no idea.
I have no idea.
When they want to live on that block.
When you can go to like we'll just drive. Like dog, like for $20,000 a year in taxes. Novi. like Ann Arbor. Anywhere, just drive 20, 30 minutes.
My mom would do it in a heartbeat. If we sold in Garden City and told her you can go back to Dearborn, she'd rather go back to Dearborn even if it costs more.
I mean, that's excessive, right? Like, that just so we're all clear. $20,000 a year in taxes. How big is the house?
Yeah, those are the big houses.
Yeah,
This is a little bit
like,
of an exaggeration, but they do it. Like I have clients at my gym who do that. They want to live in this certain area, and they're willing to pay whatever it costs to live in that area.
Those clients, you need to raise your prices. Then
sounds
like
I have decent prices. They're pretty high. It's always funny when people compare like the prices of MMA training, with like a generic gym membership. I get that all the time.
That? Yeah, you can't. Well, what a Planet Fitness is like. I shared it this pre-show. This guy, he was like, "Yo, how much is Jiu-Jitsu?" And I was like, varies a couple $100 a month though. And he's like, oh man, that's expensive. He owned a roofing company. I was like, is the roofing guy, you're going to talk to me about what's expensive right now? Mr. $30,000, for 10, 20 square roof replacement. And he's like, well, my daughter does gymnastics. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, and he's like, she only pays $140 or something. I was like, cool. When she gets married or bullied, then she can show him her balance beam routine, and then that'll put him at ease, right? And he just kind of starts laughing.
I got a question for both you guys about
property taxes.
Well, called taxes and inflation.
Yeah.
So the cost of living obviously has gone up.
Yeah.
Okay. So Metro's been open for 6 years.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
18.
How long have you been open?
I'm going on 5.
5 years. So everything known has gone up.
Yeah.
And the value of the dollar has gone down. So by that logic, if we were charging, say, $100 a month for a membership, now it's going to be at least $150 or more. So
easily.
Yeah.
Just in the past 5 years.
Yeah. So in the past 5 years, have your prices gone up? This is a question for both you guys. I'm curious, like, have your prices gone up? Everything's gone up. Everything's more expensive. And how's that affected your gym and, your clients?
Right. So I think I started with...
and I'm not asking for your prices, but have they gone up,
Not necessarily. I just think I started selling more memberships than when I first started. When I first started, I felt like the economy was a little bit better. So people were dropping hundreds of dollars for training packages.
Well, that's cause and effect, by the way. When you first started in 2019, everyone got
excited.
Well, and they got free money. Let this be a lesson in economics to everybody. How much is your free money? I know people that got $15,000 back from the stimulus stuff, like package, and they were buying campers and RVs and jiu-jitsu, and now your cost of living went up 15 per year. So for that free money, let that be a lesson. Go ahead.
It adds up for sure. That free money was actually good for me, though. I'd recommend they give the free money for sure. Give it out. People spend it at our business.
You saw
I don't
an
mind.
increase?
I saw an increase. I just saw a lot of people buying memberships with it or buying training packages. So I wasn't complaining after that.
That year,
we did see that.
It's like a credit card. That's exactly what it is. Free money. Oh, look at free money. Oh, guess what? The bill comes due. There's no free lunch.
Yeah,
there's no free money.
But we're talking about two different things. Did the free money affect your business in a positive way?
For me, I felt like it did.
Short term, yes. Yeah. Long term, no.
Like for the overall economy, I see where David's coming from. Like where it makes everything more expensive. So did we get more money in? Yeah. Did we have to spend more money somewhere else because now the whole economy is inflated? Yeah, that makes sense too.
There was every podcast I want to talk about the creature from Jekyll Island. Like anytime money is brought up, I'm going to bring up the creature from Jekyll Island, and that like you know that the America's not the first, not even close to the first country to have a fiat money system. Fiat meaning like ledger money, like literally just like, oh, we're going to create a stimulus package, right? You know how they make that? They they don't even print it anymore. They add money. They get the money from the feds, who puts it into their computer spread. It's not. They don't even bother taking the time and resources to print the dollar bills. They just add money to a computer ledger. Wow. Say the federal government, i.e., the American people, now owe us that money, and your debt increases so that the more when I say limitless money, it's limitless money. As many times as you can hit the zero button on the computer is as how much money they can make, which is why there's no, until the Federal Reserve is gone, your inflation will continue. So that's my rant for the. You can have that. You can have that clip for whatever you're doing. But so you short term, we saw that they spend their money, right? But then now we're all paying for it because expenses are tight.
Makes sense.
That's a nice Yukon. Is that a Yukon you pulled up in? Oh, okay. All right, got it.
Yeah, people will spend their money on anything.
Yeah.
They'll find a way.
So when did you open, and like at what point as martial artists, do you consider boxing a martial art?
Absolutely, 100%.
Of course, yeah.
So as a martial artist, you've went through COVID, you've went through opening, and you went through closes. Like, what's kept you in it, and at what point did you know this is what I'm going to be doing? You obviously have gone through some ups and downs in the industry. So at what point did you know, like, this is what I'm meant to do, this is what I'm going to do? And what kept you going through those, through those tough times of the ups and downs of like the Weavers gym?
Absolutely. So first of all, it starts with just an undying love for this martial arts. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved it. It's like I've watched endless movies since I was a kid. Even before, like when I grew up, I didn't grow up very rich, so I would always try to learn from YouTube. So even before I could afford gym memberships, that's what I cared about. And then I would put all that I had into it. And then when I did start working and making money, that's all I wanted to do is go train. And I lived at the gym. At Michigan Top Team, I was there every single day. Even before that, when I was in Cooper's gym, I was there as much as I could be. So I made sure that when I wanted to open my gym, I wanted to do something that not only do I love, but somewhere where I want to go hang out, somewhere that I want to put my time and energy into. And I feel like even if I wasn't necessarily a business owner, I'd always be signed up at a martial arts gym. Like, I would put my money into that because it's just what I love. I was doing it before. I came from a place where I was a customer for years to these gyms, and I believe in it wholeheartedly. Like, someone comes to me, and it's not even like I'm selling them a membership. This is good for you. If you do it, it's good for you. It's good for me too. Like, you're a customer, and that helps me. But you're gonna gain way more than I am, and I always try to give back more than I take from people. So I love what I do, and I don't think I'd do anything else, no matter what.
It's interesting that he said he was a customer before.
People say that, like I paid. I told him that I paid years up front, like not multiple years, but every year, like until I think like the very last year, I would just pay up front for the year because I knew I was like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah,
and it was.
So when you were younger, like where did it start that you drove? What triggered like we know martial arts is good for you. We know that this is a means to like helping you off the mat. Like you punch, you kick, you grapple. We know as coaches, really we're training for stuff off of the mat.
Of course.
Because all of our fighting gets done in the gym, our training, our hard work. When we're done, like the last thing we want to do is go pick a fight with somebody else. So
100%.
We get it out. Like what triggered for you that what sparked it?
You seem like you got in a lot of fights in the school. You look like the he looks gangster a little bit. Like he comes in looking like Thor in Endgame.
I had like a lot of experiences when I was young. I saw a lot of violence at a young age. I don't want to get too personal, but I saw things that I just knew as I grow up. Like I want to know how to defend myself, defend my family, and I grew up with only sisters. So that also like was always in the back of my head. Like I have to protect them.
How many sisters?
5 sisters.
That's it.
No brothers. So I was like, I have to be as strong as possible. Make sure that I can protect everyone. And I just was obsessed with it from a young age.
Where are you in the number of all the sisters?
I'm in the middle. I got 3 older, 2 younger. So I was always like, it was always in my mind. Like I couldn't think about anything else. Did
that come from your like mother, father, or is it just like an instinct that kicked in?
It's an instinct. Like I just felt that way. Like I just wanted to know how to fight. Like I wanted to be the strongest I could be. And honestly, like I never trained to compete in the beginning. I remember you guys' as coach, Jimmy Parks here. Shout out Jimmy. I met Jimmy when I was about 14 years old. And I remember when I was training, first time they saw me train, I remember Jimmy's words. You can ask him. He said, "This is the next Jose Aldo." I was already training before, like at home, like teaching myself as much as I could. And this is the first time they saw me, and they were like, "This is the future," you know? But I never thought about myself like, "Oh, I want to be in the UFC." At first, I was like, "No, I don't care about that. I just want to know how to fight." And then everywhere I go, they pushed me to compete, and I ended up competing. And I'm thankful for those experiences. Not thankful for the injuries; those are not fun. But everything else has been good. I've taken a good experience from martial arts overall.
You had a good. What was your fight name? It was like
I had a few.
What's the magic carpet? Was that
that was Aladdin? They gave me Roy Ramos gave me that one. MMA Aladdin. That was funny. But they gave me Money Munib, Murder Munib. They gave me so many of them. Every day they came up with a new one.
Should stick with one, right?
Yeah.
That's it's funny. I just had about you protecting your sisters. I just kind of started to have that conversation with and that came on your own though, which I think is really cool. With Landon, he's very much he's a follower, dude. And my 5-year-old Landon.
Well, he's got a leader as a sister.
He does, man. She's like he's got
a boss.
He's got 3 mothers in the house. He's got grandma, actual mother, and his sister. And I was talking to him today, and I was like, dude, we're gonna build. So I was talking to Mom about you can help Daddy build stuff, and then also that's what he was like. Hey, why is this golf cart in the car? I was like, well, so that no one steals it. He's like, but if someone comes in to steal it, you could just drive it off. If a bad guy comes, I was like, but then there's a bad guy in the house with you guys. Like so that I need to be here to protect you guys. And when I'm not here, who's the man of the house? And he was like, Mommy? I was like, is Mommy? I was like, dog. I was like, dude, is Mommy a man? Dude, the trans community would have a heyday with that. Like, he is, I was like, is Mommy a man? No, Mommy's not a man, dog. And he's like, God? I was like, yep, God can protect you, but God's not in the house right now.
Yeah,
you gotta do it. I was like, God's protecting the people to not come here, but if they come here, who's the man of the house? And he's like, I was like, who's the next boy? He's like, I am. He literally ran right inside, and he's like, Mama, I'm the boy, or I'm the man of the house or something if Daddy's not here. I think that's important to know, like from a young, like that. I mean, that just came with you. I don't think every guy, I don't know. I mean, I think some they feel it, but to have the drive to actually go and like self-motivated to go learn on YouTube. If you're talking YouTube, that must have been like
young, bro. I was very
before
young.
YouTube was what it is today. Certainly. Yeah.
I watched so much YouTube growing up, and I still do. But yeah, martial arts to me has always been something that I cared so much about. And that feeling of not knowing how to fight, I know how that feels. Like when someone walks into a gym and they're uncomfortable, that's my favorite thing. Like I want to make you feel comfortable. I want you to feel like this is the perfect place for you to be, because I'm knowing that feeling. I don't want you to feel that way. Don't feel insecure. The fact that you're coming in to learn, that's the best thing for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think there's I think the guys who come in, a lot of people think there's a huge misconception, at least with jiu-jitsu, that I realized. People, I don't know if maybe it's our marketing, maybe they're like, do you guys teach adults? I was like, what kind of question is that? Like, it's like 40% of our member base. Like, yeah, we have a lot of kids, but a lot of adults too. And I think they just think, if I don't get in young, that's it. Yeah. Right. Like, if I don't get in young, like that's not the game. We have a lot of doing my job of kind of keeping the combos going here. Munib, you got a cool. So you've been around for 5 years, but 2 different spots. So you opened up in Weavers and
that was also Garden City. It was nearby too.
2019.
Yeah.
And then you had to shut down because of COVID.
It's like Weavers Boxing.
Yeah, Weavers Boxing.
Boxing. Yeah. So you had to actually shut down, not
So we were open about 3 months between like a little over 3 months between like that. Late November 2019, all the way till around March, and then the shutdown happened. I'm hoping we can come back soon, but it's not looking good. And then you burn through your money to get open, and things don't go the right way. We closed down, but thankfully I had a business partner at the time. He helped us bounce back. We did our thing. We came back, and now we've been kicking ever since.
You think we should have shut down?
No, I don't think so. Absolutely not. Yeah. I think if you posted every single day how many people die from a car accident, and that was in red on the news, front and center, I think you'd have a lot of people sitting at home not driving or just riding bikes.
Well, even what they considered
COVID deaths.
If I die today, have I ever been in a car accident? It's a car accident. You know, like it's the data was, and it's coming out. Like, dude, listen, man.
We were definitely lied to.
There's a lot of. I have not gotten one apology, by the way, not one. I have not gotten a single apology. You know what I should resurface? I made a video. March 16th, they shut everything down. March 17th, I made a video saying this is a golden opportunity. Don't let your kids be manipulated by fear. Yada yada yada. Blah blah. And the whole 9. Put it on the member page. It's on YouTube. To this day, I need to put the link in there. And I think I got.
You got hammered, for sure.
Gosh. Like, they were like, that's report. Like, I
was happy we shut down. I'm going to tell you why.
Well, you were probably for a totally different reason, because you're like, I just need a break. Like, it's nap time.
I'm like, I get to like not going to work today. I can sleep in. I'm like, we shut down for like a couple days or a week.
No. So we shut down. Where are we at? We shut down. The max would have been 10 weeks, but I think we announced our official open 10 weeks after they shut everything down. Like, we publicly announced it. We were running classes, like secret class. Like, it was like a speakeasy. Yeah. It was like, did you guys do the same thing?
I put up newspapers on the windows, but just not enough people were coming in. I wasn't established yet, you know?
Yeah, sure. Well, and I think that's just, but how easy would it have been to be like, I tried to open my own gym, but COVID, and that's why I can't make it. And that's why I can't. And then you go back and do something else, and you could always have that. Everyone's got that story of, oh well, I just got I got dealt a bad hand. Yeah, like that's.
I look at business as like it's just like being into a fight, and you have to be like a gladiator. And every day that you go out, especially the work that we do, like, this is not an easy thing to do. You're essentially, our business is to teach people how to push themselves mentally, physically, every single day. Yeah. And business in general, like, that's our business model for martial arts. But as a business owner, like, it's every day that we go out, it's like you have to be ready to get eliminated. Yeah. And you have to have that mindset, and not just it's a martial arts mindset. But in business in general, if you don't have that mindset, then you're going to get knocked out of the game.
100%.
Whether it be from like a COVID, whether it be from the economy, whether it be from like competition, or like national change, like Mayweather or whatever, that try to dilute who you are and just like take little pieces of your business. But if you don't have a mindset that you're going out to fight to survive in your business, you will fail.
How do you,
100%.
Can we talk about? I just want to address the mindset thing because I agree, but I also I think there's a flip side of this coin too, right? There's a resilience, which you're talking about, like it doesn't matter, right? Like I'm gonna do whatever I have to, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you have to bounce back with your second spot, and you bounce back truly bigger and better, which I think was so cool. But there's also like an I believe in an abundance mindset. So like I was thinking about this morning. What do you think? Like, what is a maximum member base that we could handle? Right here. What's a maximum? If I'm like, hey, I'm gonna snap my fingers and give you as many members as you can handle. What do you think? What do you think that
for my
is?
gym?
Yeah, sure.
Probably not too many more. Like maybe 50 more at my gym because I'm a small gym.
Yeah.
Where I'm at, maybe 50 more.
Call it 400 total. 400-ish?
Yeah, 300 would probably be my limit.
All right, how many think at max that we could handle and still service?
How many more? How many total?
Total, just total number.
1,000.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
What's the population within 15 miles of each of our gyms?
It's a lot.
Thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. And so, I remember there was another school, and they were kind of like upset about where we opened, you know? And I was like, and they're like, well, we drink from that trough. I'm like, dog, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like,
There's a lot of people to
Wayne,
go around.
will you drink from Wayne County? Like, okay. And there's plenty to go around. Look at all of the, I think look at the basketball, look at sports, wrestling clubs, all those things. There's plenty of especially business to go around, and especially in the you get like a good a boxing coach who knows like actually what they're doing, jiu-jitsu, someone who can actually not only knows the jiu-jitsu but can communicate it. There's plenty to go around.
So much.
I'm so friendly with I know. I called Professor Gomez when we were moving to Southgate. Say, hey, Professor, just heads up. I live here. This is where we're at. He's like, no, you're cool, dude. Don't worry about it. I'm like, all the school owners, I know them, and I'm like, hey, how's everything going? What's we stay in touch because they know, dude, I'm not gonna worry about you if I'm so scared of you, going after and pitching the same people. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Guaranteed. There's people who won't train at Metro because of David Fox, 100%, and because of Muhammad, and they won't train at your gym because of who you are.
Disclaimer, I believe there's more people who will not train at Metro because of David Fox and Muhammad.
That's probably true.
I like what you're saying. It's kind of like an Islamic concept called rizq, right? Where God is ordained what's going to come to you. That's how I feel about it. So if you're worried about what I'm going to get or I'm worried about what you're going to get, I think that's a problem with you.
Yeah.
You need to fix you and worried about yourself. Because I remember Jesse Baz is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He called me before he opened in Wayne. He's like,
we need to have Jesse on.
Have to. He's great people. He called me. He's like, my gym is going to be 11 minutes away from me. He's like, I won't sign the lease if you're not okay with it because it's close to you. I looked at him. I was like,
11 minutes?
11 minutes. I was like, bro, do your thing. Don't even worry about me. I'm doing well, and I want you to do good. And I have no, that's Wayne. That's totally different. I don't care. If you open wherever you want to open.
Yeah.
We're brothers. Do your thing. I'll help you with any way I can. And that's how it is. That's how it should be. Unfortunately, that's not the way. There's a lot of people who get offended or hurt or their feelings get hurt if they open or you open. And that's just unnecessary, in my opinion.
It's funny you say that because I've had this thought of, for me, I think it would be very powerful for us to reach more people if a small group of gyms, say martial arts or jiu-jitsu gyms within a close area could collaborate together. Anytime you click on a page, it's called a lead capture page or something like that, put your information to learn more about jiu-jitsu. I can't tell you how often somebody will click on a link and they're just way out of our area.
Right.
If gyms could, if people could not be afraid that, like you said, everybody has their own flavor.
100%.
And it doesn't make one flavor bad. It's just I just prefer this one.
100%.
And if gyms could learn to just work together you could have like you could capture more information of people and have reached to more information if they're outside of your area. Hey,
Right.
bro, that's in your neck of the woods. They're not going to drive out here. This lead goes to you.
Absolutely. I do that all the time. Like if people call me and
do
they're
it
too
a
far
lot.
away, I'll be like, where are you calling from? They'll be like, oh, I'm calling from Lansing. I'll be like, okay, listen, go to my friend JJ or go to this person, go to
Yeah.
that person. But like you said about the flavor thing, like sometimes there's people, they're just not a good fit at your gym, you know?
Yeah.
I've had that where someone is just not a good fit for my gym. And I have to be like, look, man, like this isn't going to work. You know, you want to kill everyone and whatever, rah, rah, rah. Like, go somewhere else, please. Because you're trying to spar guys, they're just having fun, you know?
Yeah,
And you're not coming at the right times that I'm telling you to come when there's guys who are trying to kill too.
Oh, so
Otherwise, you got to go somewhere else, bro.
They want to go tough, but not
Yeah.
against the killers. They want
Yeah, they're showing up at the wrong time. I've had this conversation 3-4 times. I appreciate, you know, your membership, but look, you're killing me, bro. You're costing me 3-4 customers a month. Get out of here,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah.
And you have to. I learned now, cut that line earlier. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes someone's just not a good fit, or they just have a bad attitude. That might be the case. You can't fix everybody. So now I just bring people in to my office. Look, man, you might have to go somewhere else, and that's fine. Just go. Best of luck.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of me thinks it's just a little disingenuous. It's incriminating, I think, as well, because ultimately it comes from a scarcity mindset. Why you won't get that? Well, it's just let me start over. I think they're to be in the 1% of school owners, martial arts school owners, you need to gross $300,000 a year.
Wow.
As far as business, like $300,000 in sales, I don't know. Like that's like I don't know exactly what the stats are, but you're probably in the bottom 5%. You know, so you're already you've got. It's very common. You see a lot of people. They take their passion and they try to make money off it, and so what they end up doing is they're selling their time,
Right.
and so they're and all you know that's. It creates a lot of burnout. So what you do is you lose your passion and you kind of make a lot of money.
I think all three of us, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
all three of us have and would do this for free.
100%.
Yeah.
And I didn't get into this industry because you can make a lot of money. I did it because I enjoy it.
100%.
Yeah, and you know what? If I make a lot of money in this industry, then I'm lucky because I do what I enjoy. But if I don't make a lot of money in this industry, I'm just as happy because I'd rather go to work and be excited about it than
Right.
drag my feet and just complain about my job and what I have to do.
Yeah.
Every single aspect of this business, cleaning to where we are right now.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely love going to work. I've done it for free, and I think we would too. And that shows. I think that when you walk into a martial arts facility, they can feel that.
Right.
In a coach who wants to be there, who has passion for what they're doing, and if they don't, that's probably the number one thing that messes up a culture in a gym
100%.
or a vibe is like, man, this guy's like, he's in a bad place. He's mean, rude. He doesn't want to be here. Like he's got a chip on his shoulder. If you enjoy what you do, your members and your team could definitely feel it.
Absolutely. I was having this conversation last night with some of the guys at the gym, and they were asking me like why I don't bring in so many different coaches. And I looked at them. I was like, look, I enjoy the sales aspect of business. I enjoy making calls. I enjoy a lot of things, but that 1 to 2 hours a day where I'm coaching, that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
If all I had to if all I had to do was coach, I would. Wow, I think I would prefer to coach 7 and up and adult like blue belt,
Yeah.
blue belts, because they're still like hungry and I'd say some purples too,
And they want to learn.
but I don't want to coach the 4-year-olds.
That's the hardest one.
That's a tough class.
The
That's
kids
so
class, I enjoy helping with my kids program. And I'm actually pretty good at working with the kids, but I just find myself so exhausted from the end of it. Like my head wants to blow up.
They just suck your energy.
Yo, man,
Dude, it is.
They
something
require
different.
a lot of emotional connection.
I agree. If I was an assistant, I love it. But when you're the head of the class and you've just got the equivalent of like an army of little monkeys running around, and you're like, dude, this is gonna.
You got to refocus on them every 5 seconds.
Dog.
You got to come over here. Let's do this. Oh, you come here, bro. It's a lot.
My gosh.
You know, we start kids at we have a 3 to 5 year old program, right? And then we have 5 to 7. And like for us, when we start the 3 to 5 year old kids, number one, it's all about having fun.
Yeah.
Like if the kid does not feel like they're having fun, they don't want to come back.
Yeah, sure.
And you like even when you go to when you go from 5 to 7 and up, like kids learn how to focus, they learn a discipline, but they have to feel like they're doing something other than like diving into a technique, forensically breaking it down. They got to feel like they're doing something different. And we use in our program we use a lot of different exercises that use like balance, hand-eye coordination, foot movement.
Yep.
We'll take some balls once in a while, and we'll throw it at them, and we'll say duck.
Yeah.
And we'll start to whiz the ball at them, and we'll go faster and faster and faster. And we're having fun, like we're just playing a game and just throwing balls at the kid.
But they're learning at the same time.
They're learning
slowly.
how to sprawl.
Yeah, they're learning how to sprawl. Yep.
Dude, I will
Makes
say,
sense.
I will
It's a
say,
good idea.
Coach Jimmy's taking his eco approach. You should. I'm getting there, right? But when our very first class, when we first started running under the soft opening here at Westland, I've got like 7 or 8 kids, and they're all like brand new. And it's been years since I've had a class like that. Normally we have like, one new kid, and I'm thinking, all right, where do I start here with it? Even just like the principles of it. First is classroom management. That's easy, black belt. That's easy. But like as far as like setting the rules of like, here's how this is gonna work. But then the technique portion, those games, dude, task-based games. I was like, get around their legs. That's it, and get around their legs and put your chest in their chest. That's what we're doing today. And that whole, versus like trying to teach a knee slice to a 5-year-old. Yeah, not a chance, dude. Not a chance.
Yeah, you gotta know your audience.
And then because now they're moving. They're to their point, and we intentionally call them games, right? And they're like, oh, I want to play a game. Like 5-year-olds, they're so dumb, dog. Like they're so easy to trick. Like we're gonna play a game. Like I can trick a 5-year-old. When you bring in your salty 13-year-old. That's a little harder.
That's when you gotta start really going into some stuff.
So when you're teaching kids, I'm curious. Like for myself, when you're teaching kids, you obviously what's your philosophy on how to teach kids to box?
It's actually very similar to you guys. I like to do get kids coordinated. So like we'll do like footwork drills, and they'll kind of be like almost like hopscotch, just having fun. Because if you take someone and you just put them in front of a mirror and tell them just jab for an hour, he's not going to want to come back.
Yeah.
I had a parent tell me, why don't you make him just jab? And I told him, what do you know about boxing? You tell me. And he tells me, oh, that's what I did when I was a kid. And I was like, there's a reason why you never went back. Why you quit.
When did you quit?
Yeah, you quit pretty soon after. And it makes sense. But like I told him, you got to let me do what I do, And that's how I like to teach. Just have fun with the kids. Let them learn a little bit, slowly at a time. And I'm of the belief that nobody's gonna get good overnight. So just give people time.
Yeah.
Give people time. And a lot of people want to see results right away, and that's not gonna work either. Boxing is a lot of repetition.
Yeah.
So we are gonna be like, I remember there was a lady. She's like, "You make them shadow box every day?" And I told her, "This is boxing. This is like going to a basketball player. And you tell me, you're really gonna do layups and free throws every day?" Yeah, we're going to do that every day, but we're also going to have some fun. I can't invent new punches. This is not something that happens. There's only a few punches you can do, so take it as it is.
Yeah, my with our we know that as you move up and you start to build on your technique and your technical ability, it's 80% mental, psychological, 20% mechanics. Mm-hmm. So for me personally, I really like to change the kids and adults' approach and belief and in adopting that earlier. And like we have the what's that approach that Jimmy uses?
He uses the CLA constraints-led approach. Eco, Greg Saunders.
Yeah. So that's one approach, and for me, it's important for kids and adults to understand that there's a psychology portion of it. You have to tap into that, and you have to approach your training and your overall lifestyle of martial arts or fitness in general. There has to be a psychological connection to it. And for me, I really like to focus there and get people thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get people thinking and get them like motivated and like have a mindset.
Yeah.
Because you can have a mindset in training and sports and jiu-jitsu or striking or whatever, and you can have a mindset as a killer, but it's a killer for like technique, and it's not a killer like when I competed at jiu-jitsu tournaments, like I went in and I had a mindset of like I just want to like annihilate and dominate. And it was never about that person. It was like taking my techniques, my go-to moves, and applying them, and have a mindset that there is no other option. And it was never, for me, it was never personal. Basketball, football, sports I played. I like to take that approach as like, take that mindset of the technique and get an edge and like an attitude with it, and nothing else matters. And you believe in yourself more. I found with our students, you believe a lot more in yourself and the technique. And for me, that causes students to like want to learn more because they're believing in themselves and they're approaching it with like a chip on their shoulder.
Did you ever spar against Muhammad?
Yeah. I got to roll with both of you guys a good amount, especially back in the days, right? Detroit. But I need to come by and do some training with you guys sometime.
Me too.
It'll be nice. Yeah, we'll mix it up.
like,
we'll cross train one of these days. I'll bring some guys up here.
It's bothersome to me how like what the team sees like as Professor Muhammad now. Like it's like they don't have a clue.
Oh,
like,
he's a
they
killer.
they don't
Strong.
have they don't. He was one of the most violent people in the gym. Like they just don't know.
Yeah.
Like to him, he's just a fun uncle to have around. Like they literally have no clue. And I would when we would do our equivalent of the zombies. I would walk out of there limping to go to like not you weren't. It was just how we kind of trained a little bit more reckless back then. But like they just don't have a clue, and I think that's really bothersome to me. I'm like, man, if they only knew. It's like you see like the tiger like that at the zoo, and you're like, yeah, 4 years ago before he was captured, but yeah, like he was like slaying like antelope and things.
So let me before we segue off that, let me ask you guys this question. So, my best friends growing up and in jiu-jitsu have been my toughest training partners. And and even other sports that I've played, and the people that I love the most in my life, and who I'm spending the most time with, like, David right now and some of the guys, they are they give me the toughest physical time. Mm-hmm. So I want you guys' opinion. Mm-hmm. How is it that in the martial arts that you could train with somebody or spar with somebody and it literally is it's a grueling physical dogfight, whether it be 1, 2, 3, 5, we go 10 minutes or whatever. Like, how can you give so much physical exertion in a fight to each other? Yeah. And it's physical. Like, you can get knocked out in your sport, you can black out, and it's like it's very, very physical. And how can you leave fighting with somebody and establish such a connection and a relationship with someone? I was wondering if you guys could speak to that, because I know how it brings people together and the connection it establishes. And I'm just curious if you guys could, from boxing to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, for me, I find that it's a level of respect that you reach. Another person can appreciate when they can tell that you've worked hard on something, right? So like if I know, in order to beat me up, you must be training a long time, because the regular person's not going to beat me up, So that means you've put in a lot of hard work. So that's respectable. And when we clash, that's fun to me. That's very fun. Like it's like kind of like like a video game when you have a challenge or a chess match, and it's like, wow, this person can challenge me. Even like now I'm thinking what he's gonna do next, what I'm gonna do next. For me, that means like this person has put in a lot of time, a lot of energy into the sport, and I respect him, and I want to train with that person.
How do you not get distracted? He tags you.
Oh
You
yeah.
you see a couple stars. How do you not get distracted and stay focused on that mindset?
Yeah, so that goes back to something that I was taught from Kara, and it was like, especially switching from MMA to boxing. I remember when I switched, she told me, "Look, the biggest difference in boxing between MMA and boxing is everyone in boxing gets hit, no matter what. You have to accept it. You're gonna go in and spar. You're gonna be fighting closer range. You're gonna be throwing a lot more punches. It's just how the game goes. You're gonna get hit a lot more than MMA even." I was like, okay. And then yeah, when I would go spar,
I wouldn't expect that.
yeah, it's because the two sports are different. Like MMA, we're fighting a little bit farther away. We're either really far away or really close.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of mid-range fighting in MMA because of the small gloves, right? But whereas boxing, you spend a lot of time in the mid-range and the close range, and you can only punch. So you get hit way more. So knowing that I'm going to get hit is something that I have to accept before. And then if I know that if I get hit and I overreact and I react in an emotional way, I'm going to get hit worse. So I have to be smart. I have to approach this like a game of chess. I want to hurt you back, but I'm not going to do it right away. I'm going to take my time, find my openings.
How about you, David?
You guys seen? Well, I know you won't get the Endgame reference. You don't watch Marvel, right?
Who?
Marvel movies. Have you seen Gangs in New York?
I like
Gangs
that.
in New
I like
York?
that movie. That's one of the best movies.
Gangs of New York.
That's a Marvel?
No, that's a great movie though.
That's a different.
That's a mobster movie?
No, like 1800s gangsters, Irish versus Americans, kind of.
It was.
I might have.
Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, and what's that guy's name with the glass eye?
Yeah, I don't know.
He has the glass eye and the
Yeah.
Bill the Butcher. It's a great movie. You should watch it.
It's a violent movie, but like there's a point in which right at the opening scene, it's just these two rival kind of gangs, and Bill the Butcher, like he ends up killing the dude, but he was like he ends up talking about him later. He was like he respected for what he stood up for, and he respected for what he was willing to fight for it, and even in his death, and making the final blow like that, he's like. He was the only. He says, "What's he say?" He's like, he was the last man worth fighting.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, something like that.
And so yeah, there's a respect that comes there. There's also, like I said earlier in the week, in knowing that you could hurt me and you're choosing not to.
Yeah.
That you could, especially if someone's better than you. And jiu-jitsu, chokes, whatever, boxing, you could just like you do some damage, but especially with body shots and whatnot. So I think it's I think there's, because that's at least with men too, like that's how we like ultimately, like I think one of the greatest hurdles with like relationships is like I'm not gonna hit my wife, like if a guy pisses me off enough, like I'm we're gonna fight,
Yeah.
so it's just not gonna happen. So our hands it's unfair. The women have an unfair advantage, so our hands are tied. But I think there's just it's a king respect issue always. I see you're willing to, because everyone, they know no one comes in. There's no prodigies. Right, there's no prodigy day one. There's people who do like Mighty Mouse, John Jones. Those guys are phenoms, right? But no one comes in day one and is just magically good at something. They've lost a lot to get to where they're at, and so to lose a lot and continue past that, I think that's a big aspect of it.
There's always more to learn too.
Yeah.
Like you might be the best in jiu-jitsu and then you go box and you're like, whoa, what the heck? I don't know anything. Or I'm good in striking and I go to grappling, I get submitted 10 times. And I'm like, okay, I got to improve. So there's always more to do.
That's what we were talking about with we lost our bet. With kickboxing, it's anti-wrestling.
Yeah.
Like everything, like your wrestling stance is going to get you like rocked, like I did 2 classes with Jimmy, and like, it's so, everything I'm doing is wrong. Like, and everything I'm like, I just fucking hug this guy. And like let's just bring it to the ground. Like you're you're not getting haymakered, but you're just getting, like you said, you're getting tagged. Like stop punching me, dog.
Yeah.
like leave me alone. And it's tough to learn that skill set. So it's pretty tricky. But I want to get to a couple new topics. So that resilience of opening up your second gym. Something else that was really interesting. I would not have expected this, but you said a good portion of your member base back when the war broke out in Gaza, especially in a heavy Arabic community. Like you had a lot of canceled memberships as a result of that.
Yeah.
And what can you go into that? Like, because I would not have expected this.
Yeah. So it kind of like it was also it was Gaza.
Were they the canceled memberships? Were they like across the board, different Arab Americans, or is it more Palestinian Americans?
We don't have too many Palestinians at the gym, only a few. We have some Yemenis, we have some Lebanese, some Iraqis, and then I'd say about maybe 50% of the customer base is spread out between different types.
Can you tell where someone's from by looking at
a little bit? Yeah. A little bit.
Yemeni
Sometimes
have a nose, right? Is that's what I've heard? I can't tell a difference. So
It's
y'all
a
look
look.
alike.
If I had to guess, I would say it could be from a couple different places, but and I know he's from Iraq. I just refreshed my memory, but Iraq.
Yeah.
But if you're from the Middle East, you can kind of guess.
There's
Sometimes,
not a chance.
you know,
Not a chance.
give or take. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a little bit difficult. Like you'll find like some people from a certain place might look a little different, but overall that you can tell. But at the end of the day, like we're all Arabs. So, but when you see it like every single day, and for us, like we follow each other all on social media, and so when we're constantly all sharing it and posting it, it spreads awareness, but at the same time, it makes people really depressed. Like I was getting very depressed myself
regarding the war in Gaza.
Yeah, regarding the war, like when you're seeing children getting blown to pieces, I don't know like how that can affect someone. Like everyone differently. Some people can shut it off and not care, maybe because it's not affecting them. But for me, at least, speaking from my own experience, is I see these people as like extended family. You know,
This has got to be on TikTok, right? There's no way you're watching this on Facebook.
It'll be posted on Instagram. Now, like, there's no censorship.
There's a lot of there was a lot of censoring.
Yeah, now there isn't.
You know what's great? So Zuckerberg starts training jiu-jitsu, and all of a sudden he gets his brain back. Like he stops being an idiot. Some can claim it on the admin, right? Like we got a new president, and now we're not censoring shit. But he's been training jiu-jitsu, and now he's getting some common sense back. Like I don't know. Like that's just kind of my correlation with it. So you're seeing that stuff and sharing, violent graphic content.
Right. And kind of like, it was mostly the Lebanese community that paused and canceled their memberships, or canceled mostly sessions too, private training.
Because they were, why would they cancel?
You just seeing people go down left and right, like regular people, leaders in the Middle East. And that's really like giving people hope right there that there's even people resisting against Israel. Like Israel is kind of like, to give you an example how I would put it, it would be like someone who's a white belt going and slapping who's the best jiu-jitsu guy, Nicky Rodriguez, in the face. That's kind of like what you're dealing with.
Wow.
Because the amount of weapons and money.
Nicky Rod is not the best jiu-jitsu guy. How do you not mention Gordon? How do you not?
Gordon Ryan, but he got sick. That's why I didn't want to mention him. He got sick, so I wanted to say Nicky Rod. But like the way I'm trying to put it is like this country has been given more weapons and money than anyone in the world. So when you go and you have to fight against them, you're just going up against a monster. And the other thing is, when you're going up against an opponent who is willing to fight dirty, that's very difficult, right? Like you don't know how it feels to like lose people like that. That's crazy.
Who's the dirty fighter in this illustration?
Definitely Israel.
How is it? So just you had a lot of people canceling their memberships because they were depressed about this situation because they felt tied to them communally. Yeah,
of course, because like I'll give you an example. Like there's people, he has family there. There's a lot of people from Lebanon who have family in Lebanon who, like I have students at my gym whose parents are living in Lebanon. You know, like young guys in my gym, their brothers, sisters, family members are living there. I've had people have to step out of the room when there's bombs going down over there to call their parents, make sure they're okay. So it's very difficult when you're seeing that. And I'm like, I understand like that you don't quite kind of want to feel like coming into training, you know, I get it. It's a nasty situation, but it does affect us differently because this is the biggest Arab American community in the world outside of the Middle East. Like my parents are here because of war, because of wars that happened in the Middle East.
The Dearborn area.
Yeah, the Dearborn area. So this is like a never-ending process. Like since I was a kid till now. 2003, the war in Iraq happens. That's all we saw on TV every single day. My mom's family's over there. My dad's family's over there. And phone calls. And it's just different. Yeah. Like, when is this going to end? Is kind of the feeling that people are getting. And when you reach a point where it's never ending, you start thinking like, wow, like what's the point? Like, it gets bad.
Coach, I got a question for you. Is there any war or anything that's happened, like genocides, war over the last 20, 30, 40 years or more that you as an American, you learned about or you went through that it really bothered you as an American?
Yeah, of course.
Is there anyone?
Still going on.
Which what?
Still going on. 57 million deaths every year.
Which one?
Abortion.
Abortion, okay.
57 million babies killed every year.
Okay. Is outside of the United States? Is there anything?
That's
okay.
That's America. Outside of the United States, that has affected me.
That, like, you know, Gaza and, you know, what's going on in Lebanon and Iraq and Syria, like that, we're Arab Americans, so it's not in our backyard. The killings are not happening here. They're happening in the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
But they, you know, and that's today's topic. They really are affecting us. They're affecting our mental health, to be honest with you. They're affecting us socially and politically. But as Americans, it's weighing us down. As an Arab American, it's weighing me down. It's weighing him down. I'm curious, in the world outside of the United States, what is it that bothers you, that keeps you up at night? Like that? What war like that, or what?
I don't really. There's not really a whole lot. Like, it's not a whole lot that keeps me. I mean, I sleep pretty well at night. If I'm being honest, like there's not a whole lot that bothers me. Internationally, I mean, I've got kind of a tin hat approach to this, you know, to really world affairs at large. Yeah, I think what bothers me most is the things in my home country. You know, how our leaders spend our money. Yeah, I think, you know, and we can talk about the narrative of, you know, the Israel and the Gaza, but there's going back to what we talked about, spending money. This fucking guy in Ukraine shouldn't get $1 from America. Like, I don't understand why that money's going over there. I don't understand why Israel gets our money. I don't understand why any company or any business. That's how I see it, right?
Yeah,
like,
it is.
I don't understand why any country other than American citizens get money. I don't understand. I mean, I do, because there's bigger interests at play. And to your point about, I would really recommend at least, like, I'll send you a 30-minute YouTube video on the creature of Jekyll Island. War is necessary for the American economy, especially. So when's war going to end? When Americans stop needing money. Like, it's necessary, because both sides of the war are funded by the same people.
No, for sure, I understand that.
So it's necessary. So I think that is. It's frustrating, but I kind of take like what can I do? Like, what can I do about it? You know, I could get really upset. One time I did a 3-month presentation on abortion, and what actually, like, this is back when I taught youth group, and you went into the stats and the data, and you know, teaching these kids, and like, if all I ever saw was just the mutilated bodies of chopped up kids or babies that were chemically incinerated in the womb, and that was on my feet all day, every day, that would be that it did affect it. It wrecked me, dude. And so like I won't. If is there anything I can do about it? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, if I want to get like involved in litigation and politics, but that's not something I have interest in. So it would wreck me. But I don't have any. I can't make a change in world affairs. I don't think I can make a change in world affairs. And I'd rather deal with something rather than something overseas like that. Like you guys have family over there.
Yeah.
So like that would be the of like, I suppose if I've got some distant family, in in the United Kingdom, but if like the UK got attacked, I'm still sleeping all right. I don't. It doesn't mean the same to me that it means to you guys.
Yeah.
You know, like you guys care a lot more about your extended family. Like you guys care more about your extended family than as much as I do my immediate family. Like your great aunts and uncles overseas in the old country. Like it's to your credit, but I don't like it. Doesn't really affect my day to day.
Yeah,
you know?
like I feel like, but this is the thing with I have a lot of American friends who have the same approach. You know, if it's not in America, it's not important to us. But we have to.
I didn't say it's not important.
I'm not saying that, but like we get this a little bit, you know, and sometimes we can feel that way too, like where we're not there, so we don't know fully how bad it is, you know. But now we've reached a point where, okay, the Iraq war, there wasn't a lot of footage, 2003. You know, we didn't really see these millions of people die. I believe over 1 million people died in this war, or somewhere around that number. And when you just say 1 million, it's different than witnessing people dying.
Yeah.
You know, now that we're seeing it, there's a social media age where this is brought to people's attention. You can share it. You can talk about it. And now I believe that every person at the end of the day, whether we can do anything or not, if you're not upset about injustice around the world, I believe that's a conversation that someone will have with God one day. Like, how did this even make you feel? And if someone doesn't feel anything, they have to question themselves. Like, how do I not care? And that's kind of where I've gotten to. Like, I know I can't really do much. And nobody's going to really listen to me. I could say this all day, and most people will turn a blind eye. But at the end of the day, I know myself, and I know that I have to speak on this because it's important not only to me as a person, but it's going to be important between me and God, that other human beings, no matter where they're from, nobody deserves to be bombed in their sleep. Nobody, especially not with our money.
Sure. Well,
this is horrible.
At all, right?
We
like,
paid for it.
Yeah.
This is so upsetting. Like, we pay thousands of dollars in taxes every year, and they're going to fund Ukraine's war with Russia, which is people dying on both sides, and you got Israel bombing all of its neighbors, and this is considered America's best ally. This is crazy.
You know, I look at it like this. You grew up in Monroe, Michigan.
Monroe County.
Okay, yeah. Monroe County. So if you can remember being in junior high in Monroe, okay, or let's say you're 40 or 50, if you can remember being in high school, like that stage is way behind you, and it's part of you, but it's not a most recent part of your your history, right?
Sure.
So I think why it affects why today's topic is why it affects how the war in the Middle East, how wars in the Middle East and Gaza, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, why it affects Arab Americans so much is because that is we still have a connection of like I'm a Arab American, I'm a Palestinian American, I'm a Muslim American, like. I am an American.
You guys are very
I was
rooted.
born here, but the first part is I'm never not going to be a Palestinian American, Arab American, Muslim American. I'm always going to be both, and
it's a huge difference. Yeah, I don't have any community.
Yeah.
Like I would never consider myself Irish American. Like
right.
ever. So that's a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't I think if you don't have that, and if Americans don't have that, what American are you?
American.
What?
American.
But there's more to it, and that's the thing. When you
sure.
don't have a connection to somewhere else, when you don't have a connection to like how your culture, your akhlaq, your adat, like how did that come about for you to be the kind of person you are?
100%.
Which means like your
what is harak?
akhlaq is like your manners. Like where were they developed? Where were your manners? Like how did he get to be this type of person? Martial arts molded him, but in his parents and grandparents,
Culture. Like where did it come from? Like
So you're
and it comes from somewhere.
To your guys' credit, and I've said this before, you guys preserve tradition. Like when I say you guys, like Arabs, and not just Arabs, Eastern Europeans do this as well. Like Albanians, like they come over, Polish, a lot of Polish, like so. Ironically, like so in terms of the world history, America is like an infant. We're 200 years old. Like, so like if you go over to Beijing, they've got millennia of history and culture built into it. We have 200 years, so there's a,
so let me tell you my take, David.
Yeah.
We have 200 years of history, but what is the history? Like, I think where is your history? Like,
it goes back to the UK.
Okay. That's the thing.
Who cares? Like I don't care. I don't care. I feel no association to Britain whatsoever.
Okay, so we are erasing our history when we don't. And I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying why we are upset about like why people get depressed and they're unmotivated is because we have a direct connection from generation to generation to generation about our history, about our parents, about our grandparents, and we are reminded again and again and again, like. The older generation, like your wife will never stop telling your children how hard you worked. She will never stop. Like, God forbid something happen, she's going to remind them.
I got my social media profile to watch for whenever they go back.
That'll live on for sure.
But and I think that, just without going off, that's why does it affect us is because we have a direct connection. Our identity is still in there. Like you have St. Andrews, a church of St. Andrews in the Ukraine. You have places of worship all over the world that are a direct connection to Christianity, and we have them. Yeah. And they're not necessarily just religious sites. They're just the making of the mindset of the Arab American people, and it's being destroyed. It's being bombed, and it's being
disrespected.
Yes, and and when we see that, it's like, hey, man, that's me. Like, that's my culture. That's my, that's
religion. Even like, there's no limits. Like when you're seeing even mosques getting blown up, churches getting blown up. This is now you're exceeding. Now it's become for me. Also, I always like to give this example. Imam Ali has a very famous quote where he says, "People are of two kinds. They're either your brother in faith or your brother in humanity." And I feel like
who is it, Muhammad Ali?
Imam Ali. He's a Islamic figure.
Gotcha.
But for me, people are either my brother in faith or my brother in humanity. So if we're losing our humanity now, essentially. And I feel like America's stripping us away from that. Where like, hey, we need to live in this closed bubble where if we're not affected by it directly, it's fine. And I don't like this because back in the day, you saw. Our forefathers in America were upset about 2% tax on tea on one product.
I'd be down on. I mean,
2%.
I'd be down.
I believe it was 2%.
I'd be down on a new tea party. I
think we need to reform. I think the whole American mindset has to shift. It's very almost atheistic, where we don't care. We're just only worried about ourselves.
Americans are culturally and as a country, we are extremely selfish. You will get no argument from me. From that.
Yeah. Like the whole thing too is like even within families, the whole concept of someone turns 18, kick him out. Like if you don't even care about your own family, how are you going to care about everyone else?
They're getting charged rent, but I'm not kicking them out. Like they're getting
you make them work, teach them with limits and bounds. But this whole thing of like shifting people from being family and taking them away from each other. Now we've gotten to a point where people are just like, okay, all I need to do is work, make money, pay my bills, and maybe, get a girlfriend, and that's it. That's all my life is. And social media posts and vacation here or there, and that's it. Where like people are getting blown to pieces, and you know what? We're not gonna bet. And this is for me unacceptable. Like we have to as Americans, we have the most ability to change the world than any other people because we're allowed to speak, we're allowed to post videos, we're allowed to do what we can, right? In some countries, even in the Middle East, you can't post. If you disagree, you can get killed if you disagree with your leader.
Yeah.
Or North Korea. Like we're not born into that situation. So as Americans, having this platform to be able to speak our mind and share these ideas, this is essential. And the more people that do this, the better. Because maybe we don't change things today, but maybe our kids change it, or their kids change it, and it can end. I hope that human beings can change this.
So, I think. I agree with most of what you said. I think where and to your guys to the Arab community's credit, you guys have I kind of envy it a little bit. Like I often commend Muhammad's family. You guys will have more people show up for a middle school sporting event on like a text like you'll send a text out like, hey, it's this Mia's field hockey or whatever. Like you will have more people show up for that or that championship game. It would take and took 4 months of planning to get my extended for a family reunion. Like 4 months. It took that much planning because we just don't we don't prioritize it. Now, do I feel and do I personally feel any like I'm missing out? It's all I've ever known. So it's all I've ever known. So I can't this is my reality. This is all I've ever known. Mm-hmm. Do I enjoy and do I love my family, my extended family? Of course. Yes, of course.
So Arab Americans, we live as Muslims 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't think Christianity is...
Well, hang on. Let's clarify. Arabs are not Muslim. Not all Arabs are Muslim.
No, and that's why I say, and I believe Christians do the same.
They do not. I can attest to you, they do not.
Well, we should. Muslims and Christians should live as we should live as following the word of God before anything. And like when you say we have like
I misspoke. I thought you were going to say showing up to sporting events.
That's my point. Is like the reason why we do that is because if I send a text message out, or my daughter has a hockey game, my son has a game, and we let all of our family know, we're just as busy as you are, and it's America. Like everybody's like on a clock. I got to get here, then there. It's we're always on. It's on a treadmill. But the reason why we show up is because keeping the ties of kinship is a very big portion of Islam.
Is that a command?
Yeah, it's a command. If you break it, it's very bad.
Well, that makes a lot more sense.
And we're recommended and advised to try to keep the ties of kinship.
That's haram.
It's haram to break the ties of kinship. Yeah.
What is
like for example, say you have a sibling and you don't reach out to them and talk to them. You have to reach out.
Okay, sure.
I believe you have to reach out within 3 days too.
I'm sorry, you need to keep in touch with your siblings every 3 days.
I keep in touch with them every day. I love my family, bro.
But that's a command.
Yeah, it's good. It's important.
That explains
strong
it.
family.
It's not just strong family. That's spiritual now because now you're going to account to God. How did I not know?
And
that?
you want to hear something?
I did not know.
You want to hear something scary, David? This is actually scary. Like if you believe God, and there's a hadith that says that your risk, your wealth, and it could be money, it could be happiness, it could be anything. Any way you define wealth, is directly tied to the kinship that you keep with your family. So if he's my brother. And I get in an argument with him, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna X him out. I'm not talking to him. You don't talk to me. I won't talk to you.
Yeah.
That's considered kinship. And for us, before we break those ties of kinship, we think about that stuff. And when we get invited, we're like, we got to keep the ties of kinship. I'm busy, but we got to keep the ties of kinship. So
so that okay, and that would. So then that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I will say, and here just maybe we should. I've got a 1 o'clock appointment in Wyandotte, so that leaves us about 18 minutes left on this podcast, maybe 22. So maybe we can continue this conversation. I will say, I don't think if you talk to Americans, which you guys are, so to me it feels really strange, right? Like to say Americans like you are not American. Like to me, like you are every bit. You're both born in America, right? Dearborn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every bit American as everyone else.
Yeah.
But I think there's a far more of what's going on. There's an actual war of people dying, right? I don't want to see videos of Vietnamese kids getting blown up. I don't want to see videos of German children from World War II footage, which was probably the last, based on history books, more like ethical war that we had, right? Like, but I still don't want to see like that. Like that would very much affect my headspace. I believe what we have much more going on though is a truth war. It's a data war. And if you talk to people, like, so
That's
you say, you
true.
can say,
Very true.
and I'm going to be like dead honest. You show me a picture of an Israeli kid and an Arab kid, depending on how much dirt's on their face, I might not be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, you won't.
So someone could put the same video of, let's just say, Hamas attacking Israel and saying Israel kills 25 kids. No, I know. I don't know. Right, but it's this narrative of it, and I think that's where, like, Mo, you got like not upset, but I think you were a little hurt back in the day. You're like, dude, why aren't you sharing any of my stuff that I share? Well, this is right after the attacks came out. I said, Muhammad, because I don't know, I don't believe either side. I don't believe the full narrative of what either side is saying, and I can't know the truth. And even if I'm over there, like, you know how when people get in a car accident. Like you both, let's say you both get in a car accident. When trauma hits, like actual trauma, not like daddy yelled at me trauma, like actual trauma, like physical trauma. When they ask you to recount those events, people have gotten data wrong as large as what the car was and the car color. They get hit by a green truck, they thought it was a red car, so they can't, like, it's kind of trauma blocking a little bit. And so I think, like, if I'm over there, even if I'm seeing it firsthand, like, you truly don't know what events led to it. Like
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I don't know. How do you know, right? Like, how do you know?
Here's the thing. There's when you bomb hospitals where people are taking shelter and people are injured already. When you bomb churches, when you bomb mosques, when you intentionally do these types of things, you start to lose all credibility. And now, and it's not one time. I believe it's hundreds of times they've bombed hospitals and churches. And it's documented by video, documented by United Nations. All these people are seeing this firsthand. So when you reach that point, now you have to say, okay, like, what's going on here? Like, there's no justification for this. And is there both sides that one person did this? Of course, there's both sides. But at the end of the day, there's one person occupying another. And if someone occupied me or my home and said, this is my home and you're getting to get out, I'm going to fight back. And when I fight back, you come blow up the whole house. This is craziness. So I think really, as Americans, I would hope that we reach a point where we stop giving Israel money and stop allying ourselves with this country. Because this country even attacked the United States.
Who did?
Israel.
When?
They attacked one of our warships. I believe in the night. You can look this up, but they attacked a United States warship. They blew it up. I believe. Do you know what year this was?
Like recently?
No, in the 60s, I believe.
There's a
or the 50s.
documentary on that, and they just flat out.
Well, if they attacked us, then
they've attacked us.
I don't see how we're allies with them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send that to you.
This is if one country. At first, I don't even know how that goes against the Geneva Convention, right? Because there are I don't know them, but there are rules of law. The counter arguments of what I've heard, and I don't know who's true. I don't know who's true, dude. You ever seen Hunger Games?
I believe I watched one of them.
It's tough to watch, honestly. Yeah. It's kind of tough to watch because Hunger Games could first off, we're the capital. We live in the capital. America's the capital, but It could very well happen. Like, and I'm not like saying that to be funny. Like it could become a reality in America.
I agree.
But at the very end, like, so when the resistance was coming against the Capitol and they stormed and it's just snow and he's just got like this last line of security guards left. And there was a wave of bombs that came through and kind of like they bombed the resistance. And then the medic team came in. And one of them was Katniss's daughter, who the whole reason she stood up as tribute was to protect Primrose. Mm-hmm. Then when the medics came in, they did a second surge and bombed all the medics. And people thought it was the Capitol, when in reality, it was the resistance leaders who I think her name was can't remember it right now. But the point was, it was the own home team. Mm-hmm. So the other narrative is that Hamas is the one bombing the hospitals and blaming Israel. How do I know who's actually speaking the truth?
So
that's a genuine question. How do I know?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm just before picking a side, yeah. I think I'd love a ceasefire.
For sure. And I think Mo and I will say this: we don't want to see a genocide of Israel. We wouldn't want to see that at all.
I don't think any. Yeah, that's not.
We don't want to see them die. And for me, I would rather them live peacefully. This would be the best solution.
Sure.
But when you have a group of people that believe religiously that they are better than other people, just because
the Jews, you're saying?
Yeah, the Jews, they believe this, that everyone else is, just what is the word called?
Zionist.
Zionist. To
be specific. Yeah.
Yeah. And when they believe that they're better than other people and they could kill people and it's not a big deal and we're all just like cattle to them, it's craziness.
That's a
I
that's
think
what Hitler believes.
I think on that note, for anybody that is, and this is how it's affecting people in the United States, and it affects our ability to train, and it affects our ability to like exercise and go to work. I think one of the biggest things that affects like me, and I don't know if I can speak to you, is the source of your information of saying, let's say you're saying Hamas is responsible for bombing the buildings, the hospitals, not Israel. Those statements, if we talk about that statement, is what really affects us mentally and emotionally, because our source of information and where that statement might come up from, on like, well, there's two sides of the story. It's a Palestinian's fault. It's an Israeli's fault. Where you guys are getting, where people get their information from, and come back to him and I, who are very sensitive, because we actually have, forget about people there. Yeah, our history is being erased.
Sure.
Yeah.
The olive oil that I brought you multiple times, the Israelis are burning that land. So it's directly affecting me. But again, how I think it affects us mostly, for anybody watching the podcast, is when you watch CNN or Fox News and you get information from there, like they're programming you, and
without a doubt.
100%.
Look at what COVID. Perfect example.
COVID on steroids, bro. So that's really what affects. I think if for me, the message to people listening to this is, if you have a Arab American, a Muslim American, or any minority, even Ukraine or anywhere, and you take the narrative that you get from the internet, or you take the narrative you get from the TV, like you have to be extra responsible in researching. Like if you're going to research and get your news from CNN, go ahead and Google like who is the opposite of CNN. It's probably going to be Al Jazeera English. And is there a reason why that they're welcome on the front line of Israel shooting a tank, but they're not welcome to go inside where the bullets are hitting that Israel is shooting? Same thing with Ukraine. Like you have to have the left and the right of the reporting, so you can do your own get your own accurate information. And if you do, I believe, like inherently, we all have good in us. You're gonna find the truth 100%. And have a better sense of like what's really going on. And so when you talk to your friends and family, you'll be a little bit more educated on
100%
what's really happening.
What I think just on like an objectively, stance of how it affects. Is I know like there's been times like with Muhammad, like I'll just see, I've seen you or Jablil or whoever walk in, and you can just tell like it's like you've got like a mental burden, with that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just checking in, and I'm like, hey, how is everything? How you doing? Because I don't really think I have anything to offer the people of Gaza, but I do have something to offer the people who have people in Gaza, right? So it's how how you deal with like those. Your actual your sphere of influence, however small or large that that might be.
So, Coach, what is your? I know we only have a few minutes left, but what's your message on? That was my take on it. What's your message to the people who are, like that was my message to the people, non-athletes, for example, that are affecting our athletes. Like, what kind of messages, or what do you want to say to the effect of how it affects people here, what they can do, what you do, and just how, just talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I feel for anyone who's unsure about the information or not sure which side to take, which one is true, which one is false, I recommend going and looking up what the Israeli government has to say about their actions. Benjamin Netanyahu is quoted in saying they're Amalek and we need to slaughter them all. They are quoted then saying that they need to nuke them. Some of the people
What
in
does
their
Amalek mean?
Amalek is, I believe, there is a tribe that was slaughtered completely in the Bible, wiped out. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this? I believe that
the Amalekites.
Yeah, where they were completely slaughtered and genocided. It was a group of people that were ordered to be slaughtered. And he quoted.
I wonder
this.
if they say that on CNN, but
Yeah, but this is him speaking.
I know.
And they say these types of things, and they're not hiding it. You reach a point where you cannot hide it anymore. You're gonna say, and they take credit for it. And when you see that brazen, even there's videos of Benjamin Netanyahu saying he can convince the American people to do anything he wants, which is craziness. And it's true.
Have you ever seen that?
This is 20 years old. 20 years ago, he said this. Bibi Netanyahu.
I was looking at David Duncan says this is why people are leaving mainstream media and turning to podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't trust that. Yeah.
But did you know that the leader and the prime minister of Israel was caught when he thought he was off camera? Don't worry about the Americans. We'll get them to do whatever we want to do. What they're going to do, whatever we say. And wherever we go into war, anything that happens. Have you ever seen
I believe
that?
he was speaking to his mother, too. But wasn't he in that video?
No, I haven't.
It was an older woman. It was an older woman he was speaking to. He was just telling her, basically, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
His plans. And it's an evil plan. It's evil strategy. It affects us, having friends and family for you that you see every single day affected by it. So it's a ripple effect going through all of our lives. And it affects our tax money. It affects so many different things. We have roads that are filled with potholes that they could fix. But instead, we have to go bomb
that
people.
will affect my day-to-day life.
100%.
Let's
100%.
get that tax money.
I got so mad from a pothole a few weeks ago. I almost had a heart attack. It made me so mad.
That's funny.
But yeah, and not to make light of it, but these are serious things that we could fix too. Our own infrastructure is getting older in the United States, could use some fixing up. But instead, we got to go destroy the birthplace of Jesus Christ, which billions of people love. As Muslims, we love Jesus too. Christians love Jesus. We're here destroying his homeland. And with our money. It's a disrespect. It's just a slap in the face. And then we have to come and put on a smile on our face and say, thank you for taking my money that I didn't have any say in where it goes. Yeah. It's just offensive. And then you have no choice. You have only two options. They're both going to do it. It's just a shame.
So how does training, I don't know how many minutes we have, but how does training affect how does it help going through this type of depression, and how's it helped you? How have you seen your training? And I can speak to that too. I don't know about you, David. How does martial arts help? It's a lot of weight we carry. It's like watching a funeral every day. We've been in mourning for way before October 7th. Yeah. The Iraq War, we're only bringing light of it afterwards. When you have the ex people in the military speaking out, and videos and Abu Ghraib prison and stuff like that, we see it, and I'm reminded of it every day, and you know, it's a lot of weight that we carry. So how can martial arts and boxing help your members get through that? And I don't know if you're able to speak to that, David.
So for me, I my training time, that hour and a half, gets my mind off of everything completely. Because sometimes you need that. You need to decompress,
For sure.
get a good workout in, and overall, in the gym, like everyone gets along from any different religion, any different race, and that's perfect. That's what we need to do. And honestly, I believe if more people trained and more people did physical activities that required them to know what it's like, because all these guys that are clicking the buttons to blow people up are people who
They would never
not
send
brave
their
at
own
all.
children out there.
They're the biggest cowards.
Yep.
They will never take any type of risk. They won't even get on the mat and grapple somebody. They won't get in the boxing ring and box somebody. But they're so willing to send other people's children to die. And that's the biggest shame. So that time on the mats, that time in the ring, that's the most authentic way to make people human again, I believe. Because now you're not just... This isn't just someone on the internet I can cuss his life out and nothing happens. No, this is a human being I respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How about you, David?
Yeah, I think I think Munib's spot on. I think, and as you develop these relationships with with your teammates, like you start to learn, right? You start to like I can empathize and I keep aware of like things that's going on with stuff. And you got your guys' life. There's another one of our former member. I just their mother-in-law just got diagnosed with breast cancer. So like you kind of like you share the burdens, but there's absolutely a respect. And I will say the more, with some exceptions of course, but the more violent someone becomes, the less they want it, man. Usually speaking, like you it's a rarity where you see someone who's trained for 10 years and they're just an angry, violent individual. Outside of there's of course exceptions, right? But I think like that's the Zoloft. That's the I think imagine if you just replaced antidepressants largely with martial arts. Like how many people would you piss off? How many big farm companies would like you come knocking on your door? Look at RFK. Look at RFK right now. Look at what he's going through because he's actually like he's taking a stand against like the vaccine companies and the things like that. Like how I just found this out the other day. You know where his voice came from? Is a side effect of the flu shot. A very common one.
Who are we talking about?
Robert Kennedy.
Okay.
Like that's his, so like I think it's easy to and the polarizing thing of just I'm being the extreme douche on the internet, right? Oh, Israel needs, Israel, they're doing the wrong thing. Well, all of Palestine, they're just a bunch of terrorists, and that's what it's not that black and white.
No.
It's not that black and white, and making it black and white, right? If you don't get the shot, you're killing babies.
Yeah.
It's not that black and white, right? Like, there's a, love thy neighbor as thyself, right? Like treat others how you want to be treated. Like the, kind of these biblical commands, that like come into play. But as far as the people in your circle, I think I firmly agree with you about, dude, imagine if it was, even if it was a requirement for 1 year of jiu-jitsu in every high school in America.
That'd be amazing.
Dude, can you imagine?
Can
you imagine what the mental health of these students like no screens in the classroom, 1 year mandatory jiu-jitsu. I think your gender identity crisis would go down drastically. I think your mental health would improve. I think your bullying would go down quite a bit. I think the physical fitness of the students would go up. But now it's people gotta they're going to look for it. So I think it's a good convo and even just like this example of like that we can, you guys are very, very much aligned on, I think it's because there's just questions that I know like I have and I'm like, I don't really know. It's a truth war. It's always been a truth war for
100%.
me of like where you're getting your data from. CNN ain't it. Fox News ain't it. Because even two opposites, right? They have a bias. And so understanding like where is the bias of the narrative and trying to find the angle a little bit, but it comes down to taking care of the people who are actually in your life. not
Yeah.
not hating people or getting mad at people who you're told to be hate or be mad at. That's my take on it though. So
Absolutely.
So this is Munib again. Munib, with Weaver's Gym in Garden City, and we'll be sure to put definitely put your website phone. How can people reach out to you though? Like, where is their website right now? You can just throw it at
weaversgym.com, or you can go on our Instagram at Weavers Boxing, any of the above, and send us a message. We'll happily serve.
You said you still have room for more members. You're still accepting more.
Yeah, still accepting more members. Open enrollment too. You can sign up anytime. So
okay, pretty simple. Yeah, it's a very nice, comfortable place. You got a ring in there. You got some, I think, cross training equipment in there. It's you got a and where are you located?
Right there on Inkster Road between Ford Road and Cherry Hill, Garden City.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna come in and
let's do it.
Get
Let's
some
set up
training
some
with
cross
you.
training. Let's set up some cross training. Let's have some fun.
If I don't like what I feel, I'm gonna clinch.
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be that would be a day one of jiu-jitsu all over again
sir.
for me.
But this was nice. Thank you guys for having me
Yeah,
on. I
thanks for
appreciate
coming.
that.
My pleasure, dude.
Of course, we'll do it
the
again
convo.
sometime.
Definitely.
All right, thank you guys. As we always like to say, we'll see you on the mats.